Tuesday evening, weather for Weather Geeks time. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Thanks, as always, for watching these long weather videos. I really appreciate it. I spend a fair amount of time setting these up and trying to come up with content that you're not going to see anywhere else, and I think most days we succeed at that. Some days I think I probably talk a little bit too long, but you know, with a relatively quiet weather pattern this week, hopefully our videos don't get too long. Before we get to the current weather, I want to reiterate it is Severe Weather Awareness Week in the state of Ohio. We've been talking about different aspects of severe weather on TV and online all week. Tomorrow morning is the statewide tornado drill at 9:50 a.m. One of the aspects of severe weather that doesn't get quite as much attention as tornadoes and damaging winds and hail. It's flooding, and actually, you know, I think around here we have more problems with flooding than we do any other type of severe weather. And just a reminder that you should never drive through standing water. If you're, you know, driving through a thunderstorm or after a thunderstorm and you encounter a roadway that has some standing water on it, it's best just not to chance it. You don't know how deep that water is, and we see it time and time again every spring and every summer around here and other parts of the country. People get stuck because they try to drive through flooded water, or flooded roads, I should say, standing water. Now, moving water is even worse. It does not take much moving water at all to sweep away vehicles. Just a foot of fast-moving water will carry away a small car, and, you know, a foot and a half to 2 feet of water, which, you know, again, is not all that much, especially in fairly major flooding situations. You can get that much moving water. That's enough to carry away SUVs, trucks, vans, and so it's kind of shocking how powerful water can be when it is moving. All right, back here to today's weather. Kind of a cool visible satellite today, showing a field of popcorn cumulus clouds going up in the afternoon, midday and afternoon. One of those deals where the air aloft is still pretty cold, but that strong March sun heated the ground heated the air, and you got these plumes of rising air. Now, unlike yesterday, these were not enough, there was not enough moisture, and they didn't get high enough in the sky to produce any precipitation. Also cool to note here, kind of the lake breeze, keeping areas around I-90 relatively cloud-free, but just inland from I-90, northeast Ohio, northwest PA, southwest New York, we got those cumulus clouds popping up, and they're starting to dissipate this evening. You may notice on that visible satellite how little ice there is left on Lake Erie. It's really taken a beating over the last week or so as the warmer weather has settled in. After about 2 months of above-average ice cover on Lake Erie, peaking close to 95%, we're down pretty close to average now for today's date, which is in the mid-30s, about 35% for the current ice cover. And of course, this trend will continue as we head into springtime. I'm recording Weather Geeks this evening at 7:04. What a nice sunset it's going to be. And of course, tomorrow with the first day of spring and 224, pretty much a due east-west roadway, we're going to see the sun setting. Unfortunately, clouds will kind of be in the way tomorrow evening. So this evening will be pretty much as close as a due east-west sunset as we're going to see this time around. But yeah, the sunset is almost right along 224 near the vernal and autumnal equinox. So we'll keep an eye on that this evening and maybe make a time-lapse video if we have a nice, beautiful sunset this evening. First day of spring is tomorrow. Actually, the first full day of spring is Thursday, but spring officially arrives tomorrow at 5:58 p.m. That is the point in which the sun's most direct rays are right over the equator. And just a reminder of you know, the reason for the seasons. It's the tilt of the Earth on its axis. It is not the distance to the sun. Back on January 1st, we had just passed the winter solstice, of course, about December 21st, 22nd. And now, with the vernal equinox upon us, the sun's direct rays over the equator, all areas receive roughly 12 hours worth of daylight. Now, it's roughly. Now, our 12 hours of daylight actually occurred a few days ago. It partly is to do with the way we define sunrises and sunsets. It has to do with our latitude. We don't actually see exactly 12 hours of night and day on the equinox on the first day of spring. So that's what's going on tomorrow evening, and the last waning hours of winter will be pretty benign, actually pretty mild tomorrow. Despite an increase in afternoon clouds, we should get up into the lower 50s. Looks like the rain's a little slower than it appeared previously, so the shower should hold off until after sunset, and just plan on kind of a soggy but mild Wednesday night and Thursday morning. A little light rain and drizzle may continue through about lunchtime on Thursday, then a slow drying trend later in the day. The second of two fronts comes through, and this is a blustery, chilly day coming up on Friday. And although you don't see much blue on our model here, I wouldn't be surprised if we had flurries flying from time to time. It's not going to stick or anything, but it'll be, just kind of a blustery, chilly day with wind chills Friday, probably upper 20s to around 30 degrees. The rainfall totals later tomorrow into tomorrow night and into midday on Thursday. Really nothing to write home about here. Generally about a couple of tenths of an inch, quarter of an inch. Nothing all that heavy. It'll just make for kind of a gloomy start to Thursday. All right, let's talk about the weekend and early next week. If you watched my forecast on 21 News at 6, or you've checked out our forecast on the app, you may notice some changes by Monday, but I still think we have a nice weekend coming, especially on Sunday. Saturday will be chilly. Sunday still looks really nice with some sun. We should get well up into the 50s, maybe 55, 56 on Sunday. But then on Monday, the models have really changed their tune on early next week, dragging an Arctic cold front down out of Canada and into, let me draw this for you, into the Mid-Atlantic region, and it looks dramatically colder than it did yesterday for Monday. Yesterday, my 7-day forecast for Monday had a high of 62 on Monday. We might be hard-pressed to make it to 42 now on Monday. I've taken it down to 49 because, it's very unlikely you're ever going to see us change a forecast on day 6 of the forecast by 20 degrees. That's usually not a good idea. But I did take it down by 13 degrees. Maybe a half step. We may end up having to take it down into the upper 30s to around 40 if the coldest model ideas win out. This is just one run of one model, and, even if it snows, I doubt it sticks. But we rely, when there's a lot of uncertainty in the longer range, we rely on ensemble model forecasting rather than what we call deterministic model forecasting, which is kind of just one run. There's a lot more information out there to look at, and usually a blend of models, in other words, an ensemble approach, is the way to go in the longer range, especially when we have a fair amount of uncertainty. So even though some of the modeling was spitting out a couple of inches of snow and highs in the mid-30s for Monday today, I went with a high of 49 and a chance for rain and wet snow. We're not going to jump all the way to the extreme ideas in our forecast 6 or 7 days out. So it's kind of a fluid situation for early next week. Look for more forecast adjustments as we get a little bit closer. One thing for sure, it looks chilly early next week, yes, but we're getting into late March. It'll last a day or two. It's not going to be, we're not in the middle of winter anymore. It's not going to last a week or so like it could have, not that long ago, actually. All right, thanks for watching Tuesday night's weather for Weather Geeks. Have a great night, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday.